So we may have talked about this a little bit yesterday, but it's not a bad place to start. Point slope form of equation of a line. Y minus, yep, that is definitely a typo. Because here, calligraphy pen, color. Let's do that. Because that is the correct form of this equation. Shouldn't be y1 minus y1. That wouldn't get us anywhere. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. M's our slope. x1, y1 is a point. That's all there is to it. So if we're given the slope and a point, we'll take this equation and plug our information in. And then we're just going to simplify from here. We can distribute the 3, which will tell us that we have 3x minus 3. Our negative makes a plus. Minus 2 from both sides, telling us y is equal to 3x minus 5. Which they got there. And then we could graph it if we want. Now, there is such thing as two-point form. Two-point form I don't put a lot of stock in because, well, realistically, this is it here. This is two-point form. But if we look at point slope form, we can see that it's the exact same thing, except they put the equation for slope in for m. So that really doesn't change anything. I think it makes it a little more complicated because now you're having to keep track of the slope and everything else. I think it's a little more than what's necessary. Any questions on this so far? The other part, parallel and perpendicular lines. So parallel and perpendicular lines. Two lines are parallel if and only if their slopes are equal. That means they're the same. As long as their slopes are the same, then they're parallel. They're perpendicular if and only if their slopes are negative reciprocals of each other. Or we can say that their product is -1. We can multiply the slopes together and we get -1. Another way we can get the perpendicular slope is we take whatever slope we're given, flip it, and change the sign. So we're given this point here. Find the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b form of the equation that passes through the point, 2, -1, and are parallel to and perpendicular to this equation. So before we can do anything, we need to find the slope of the original line. It doesn't really matter what the equation really is, we just need its slope. So to find that, I'm going to take 2x minus 3y is equal to 5 and get it in y equals mx plus b form. Now the first thing we can do is subtract 2x from both sides. Telling us -3y is equal to -2x plus 5. At this point here, we can divide everything by -3, telling us y is equal to -5/3, because our negative division would cause this. Now the -5/3 at this point really isn't important. The only thing that's really important is the slope. Because for us, to find the line parallel to it, well, our parallel slope is going to be the same. It's going to be 2/3. And our perpendicular slope is going to be the opposite reciprocal. So reciprocal means we flip it from 2/3 to 3/2, and since it was positive, it's now going to be negative. Now the point they gave us was the point 2, -1. So we'll plug in -1 for y and 2 for x. Same thing is going to be true for perpendicular. because we're using the same point both times. The only thing that's really changing from part A to part B is the slope. So for part A, the slope is 2/3. For part B, the slope is -3/2. Any questions on how we set this up? Now at this point here, we just need to get y by itself. Now the first thing we can do here is distribute the 2/3, and we get 2/3 x minus, well, 2/3 times 2 is 4/3. Now we could do that in a calculator. 2/3 times 2, 4/3. On the other side, negative 1 is going to become +1. At this point, we can subtract 1 from both sides. 2/3 x minus, well, we have negative 4/3 -7/3. So there's our equation that is parallel to the given line and through our given point. Our other equation, well, our negative 1 still going to become +1. This time we're going to distribute the -3/2, which will indeed give us -3/2 x. And we can do -3/2 times -2. And we could have plugged in our signs on the previous one when we multiplied it. I just kind of left that out. So this one here gives us +3. Wouldn't, almost. 3/2x plus, and that's it. Questions on this here? And really, it's just finding the slope. That's the only difference between these here and just finding the equation of a line given a point and slope, is we actually have to figure out the slope and change it given the fact if it's perpendicular, or keep it the same if it's parallel. Notice example 4, how the slope-intercept form is used to obtain information about the graph of a line, whereas the point-slope form is used to write the equation of a line. That's okay. Really, if I want to, and I'm going to, because we found the first one, alpha y equals enter 2/3 x, nope, minus 7/3. This is our first graph, 2/3 x minus 7/3. Our other one, go down one, negative alpha y equals enter 3/2 x plus 2. We do see that they are perpendicular. They have that perpendicular slope to them. And our original one, 2/3 x minus 5/3. So I can put that in there. Third equals enter 2/3 x minus 5/3. And we do see that the blue and black lines are indeed parallel, and the red line is perpendicular to both of them. And I think we said it went through the point, what was it, 2, 1? So we see the blue and red do go through the point 2, 1, which they wanted, or 2, -1. So we have all of it there. Questions on any of this here? Well, okay. I'm going to skip kind of through all that because the general form that we have, general form is not used too much. Ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. What we'll sometimes call standard form. Ax plus by equals c. the standard form where A, B, and C are integers. We don't have decimals, we don't have fractions. A has to be positive. This is one of the forms we can have. We have vertical lines, x equals a number. We have horizontal line, y equals a number. Slope-intercept, point-slope form. We have all these forms and we've kind of gone over those, or at least at some point in the last few years you've done these. But that's it. Because I also want to give you the rest of the time to work on this assignment here. That way, also, if you do have any questions, you can ask them. P9 and 10. Identify the line that has each slope. So you're just identifying which line, which of the three lines has that slope. 17 through 20. Find the slope and y-intercept. That's all you're doing. You're not having to sketch the graph. Find the slope passing through the 2 points. So 25, 26. You're just finding the slope. 43 through 45. Find the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line that has the given slope and passes through the given point. Don't sketch the line. I'm not asking you to graph anything on this assignment. 57 through 59. Find the equation of a line that passes through the 2 points. 65, 67. Determine whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So that's all you're stating. 69 and 71. Determine whether L1 and L2 that pass through the points are parallel or perpendicular or neither. 75 and 77. Find the equation line that passes through the given point is parallel and perpendicular. So the last two, you're given an equation and a point, and you want to find the parallel line and perpendicular line. But again, on none of this are you graphing or sketching the equation line.